Darcy Pariso, what do you find to be the most rewarding aspect of working as an animal intuitive? What's the most rewarding thing about it?
Sometimes it's a big thing, and often it's just really the small things. But when animals feel understood and they feel heard, and some, seemingly small things are ironed out, so to speak, it changes everything. Sometimes people put labels on animals, and it's not even true because it's our perception, because we're looking at the physical and we're thinking, oh, they're doing this to make me mad, or they're not very bright, or whatever. And it's very hurtful to the animal. And besides that, it's not even true. So, like some examples of that, where I'm thinking now of my own dog. I had 2 dogs and a cat, and then one dog and a cat crossed over about 3 years ago. And my Havanese, it's just been the 2 of us for this last 3 years. And I know her in an entirely different capacity. The relationship between the 2 dogs, we were like best friends, husband and wife. They went everywhere together. And they loved me, but it was about them. And that was okay. And after that dog crossed over, she cried and she grieved for a very long time. And I stepped up and spent more time with her, and I take her everywhere that I can. And she's become my partner. And she amazes me all the time. One day somebody asked me, well, what do you do if the animal won't talk to you? I didn't know what to say. I said, that's never happened. And my little dog piped up and she said, well, that's because I greet them. You made me the friendly greeter when we moved here 5 years ago. And so I greet them and I make them comfortable. And I didn't know that because I had moved from a house to a townhouse, and once in a while she'd hear somebody outside and she'd bark. And I said, no, I said, your job. And that's another thing, everybody. If you can give your animal a job, something positive to keep them busy and occupied and bring out their positive attributes. So I made my dog, she was kind of the follower, so I made her the friendly greeter and said, here's what we do. Knock, 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 somebody's at the door. Go to the door, you sit quietly, you get a treat. And then you go and lie down. And she did that, and she was very proud to be the friendly greeter. And at first I gave her treats all the way to the door to make sure that she learned. But I didn't know that she would take that job description and bring it into the metaphysical world. But she has been healing animals with me. She's been making them comfortable. She gives me tips. The other day, I had called a man who does remote healing, Dr. Nels of Healing Ministry for Animals, because she has some problems with her hips and her leg and walking because she's older. And so the session was over, and we left for the day, and I got a text from Dr. Nels, and he said, by the way, after we were done, your dog Kobe informed me that I missed a spot that I needed to go on her abdomen. So I did a little more after we were done. And I laughed because she's never done those things before, but she's really kind of stepped into her power, and she's happy to converse with everyone. So that was really fun for me. And, another thing, too, was, I don't know, do you have much experience with horses, Rich?
Tell me more about this, about horses.
Yeah. Have you had much experience with horses?
As a child, I had a Shetland pony, yes. But it's been many years since I've gone horseback riding, but I love horses, yes.
Yeah. Well, when I started working with Stacy with her horses, I've seen the horses do a lot of healing. And I know that all animals can heal us, and they're happy to do so. But it seems what my experience has been that that horses and cats seem to be kind of real experts, or maybe they step up and do it more so. It's just been my experience. But when Stacy and I were teaching at animal communication classes, I would teach the communication side, and then we'd go and work with the horses in the arena. And in one particular class, we had 2 horses in the arena. And in one class, one horse just walked away from everyone and went off to the side. and took this one woman with him. And we looked over at them, and they were both like checked out. The woman had gone over to him and just hugged him. She had her arms around his neck, and he had his eyes closed, and they both were, elsewhere. They were just eyes closed, out of body somewhere. So we continued the class with the one horse. And then at the end of the class, the woman said, I'm really sorry that, I took this horse away or whatever, but basically the horse took her away. And she said, I came to the class today because my horse, the love of my life, died a couple months ago, and I can't get through the grief. It's been so hard for me. And so this horse, he took her aside and healed her. And she was so much better after that. And we could see it. Everybody could look over there. We could see that, like the transference of energy. We could see this happening. So we just left it alone.
Wow, that is pretty wonderful.
Yeah, and I had a horse do the same with me. When I first, Stacy was having an event called How the Horse, and people just go and they put their arms around the horses, and it's very healing. And I had never had this experience. This was some years back. So we had stopped to talk to one of her horses on the way down to the arena, so we were a little bit later than everyone else. And as I approached one of the horses, she turned her head and glared at me, and I could feel her energy just pushing me back, like to come another step closer. And I went, wow, what should I do? And I felt like this little girl that can get chosen for the soccer team or the basketball team. And I just stood there for a while and kind of, sent that energy to the ground and cleared myself and said, okay. And then I waited for a while, and I said, can I approach you? And she didn't say yes or no, but she was watching me very cautiously. So I just took a couple steps, and I stopped, and she seemed pretty nervous. Stacy came over, and she said, what's going on? And I said, she's she's pushing me back. She doesn't want me to approach her. And so she talked to her a little bit, and I was able to get a little closer and touch her a little bit. We didn't know what that was about, but the short version was that Ella and I had a lot of past lives together, and some were very difficult, and I brought that up for her. And so what happened eventually was she was waking me up at like about 4:30 in the morning, and she started showing me some of the lives. And some were very wonderful and happy, and others were very sad. And anyway, she asked me to come back up and to work with her on clearing this. So I did. I went up to the arena, and she was showing me lives of where one day I came home from school, and my parents told me that we're really sorry that came out. There was nothing we could do about your horse. We had to put him down, and that was Ella. So how I lost her in that life, and lives of where we were in war, and then she was killed, and just one after another of life of loss and tragedy. And there was maybe one or two nice ones sprinkled in there, but loss and tragedy. And there was maybe one or two nice ones sprinkled in there, but all these things. And then she showed me, some of my own personal things that my first baby died shortly after birth, and she brought that up, and she said, you need to do some more healing on this. So I was outside the arena, and Ella was inside, and she would come over and just like snort and just release. When horses release energy, they kind of snort. So Stacy came down, and she said, why aren't you in the arena? She needs to be next to you so she can release. Look at her body language. This is what she's doing. So I went in, and I just held on to her, just hugged her for a long time, and we both released a lot of old painful memories that we didn't even know we had stored in our bodies, stored in our energy fields. And so it was good for both of us. Very
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Darcy, in the remaining few minutes, we have about 4 minutes left in the show. I'd like for you to give everybody contact information on how they can reach you and get a hold of you and schedule animal classes and this type of thing.
Oh, certainly. Okay, so you can go to my website. It's DARCYPARISO.com, DARCYPARISO, so the city of Paris with an O, DARCYPARISO.com, the website. And if you are doing anything to help animals or working with animals in any way, and you might be interested in talking to me about being a guest, you can contact me at my email at dpariso, DPARISO, @live.com. And I'd love to hear from you.
Darcy, I want to thank you for being our guest tonight, and I would like to have you back on again in the future, of course.
I enjoy that. Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it, as always.
Darcy Pariso, have a wonderful evening. To everybody out there, tonight's show will also become a series of YouTube videos, which you can watch on the Richard Vernadeau channel on YouTube. I want to thank everyone for listening, and everyone have a wonderful evening. Good night.